Well, bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you, everybody. That was an absolute thrill. I feel pretty speechless after that. It is honestly, it makes me feel so proud and happy to hear you all singing as one with the orchestra, with the soloists. Such a wonderful piece for such a wonderful cause and at such an important time to be doing this. So my heartfelt thanks. And it looks like we had a pretty good crowd of punters there as well, watching and enjoying, including Franz Schapers from Rewilding Europe. It was great of him to tune in as well. So really, really bravo. I'm just reading through your wonderful chats and comments on the side. What a great experience. I'm going to give it 5 or so minutes. I think Mark will correct me, but I think in theory we're scheduled to do the sing through at 1:45, so I'll give people 5 minutes to kind of gather themselves and together. Um, wow, well done. For me, yeah, it's just great to hear you all. It was a pleasure as your recordings came in, and I get to hear you individually. I feel I get to know your voices individually, and I get to hear, how you want to sing this piece. Because the amazing thing about this way of doing things is fine. I sort of mix it all together, but pretty much what you give me, what you record, and what you send me is what I've got, and that's it. That's how you want to sing the piece collectively and individually, and that's how it comes out. And my goodness, it sounds amazing when it does. Honestly, you clearly just put your hearts and souls into this piece. And it really, really shows. Because Beethoven is music which you can't just, sing and play through and kind of hope for the best. You have to give it your all. He demands it of you. In fact, it's sort of impossible to sing it without giving it your most. I mean, that's I think why part of the reason that it's written in such a uncompromising way. He couldn't countenance the idea that someone would just rattle through one of these pieces, because it's not what it's about. It's about everybody coming together and everybody striving for a higher cause, and that's really, really what happened. The whole is even greater than the sum of its parts when it comes to this choir and this music. So a huge bravo and thank you from me. Important to remember that when Beethoven first performed this piece, he was up on the podium. He was pretty much stone deaf by this point. So the concertmaster, the first violin, was really leading the performance, but Beethoven insisted that he conducted it. And the musicians got to the end of the piece. Beethoven, because he was deaf, didn't realise that they got to the end of the piece, so he was still conducting. And the first violin had to stand up and turn Beethoven round to see the applause, which was rapturous. After that first performance. So I suppose I'd like to invite you now. Of course, we can't hear the applause from all the people watching, but you can just tell how much they enjoyed it. How could you not enjoy that? So I'd like to invite you to sort of turn around at this moment and see and enjoy the applause that you deserve for doing such a cracking job. It really was brilliant. Great to see Ben England there in the box as well, having a fantastic time. And am I right? Some of you did Miserere this afternoon as well. That's extraordinary. What a day! I mean, I know you're the choir who's done Elijah 3 times in one day. So really, what else can be thrown at you that would be more that could test you more than that? So you clearly have the most amazing kind of stamina and enthusiasm and energy, which is wonderful. It's really what it's all about. It was a pleasure for me, and I know the orchestra who were watching as well were just loving hearing, because of course they hadn't heard themselves playing it together as an orchestra, and they certainly hadn't heard you guys as a choir singing it with them. So for them, in fact, it was even more of a kind of revelation than it is for us, because they sort of hear it all in one go, and they just love doing this stuff with you. It's as you know, it is at times demanding recording and performing in this way, but my goodness, the returns more than make up for it, don't they? Miserere last night, great. Well, I bet that was fantastic. I better catch up on it sooner rather than later. Well, so you had Miserere last night, this tonight, and then tomorrow we start Mahler's 8th Symphony. So that is quite a way to round off the week. And weren't the soloists fantastic from Sansara? Lucy, Laura, Tom, and Tom doing just the most fantastic job. And of course they were with you in many ways every step of the way, because they recorded those wonderful learning tracks for you to kind of sing along with, because I think that's one of the most special things about this, really, is that we sing together as a choir, but also you have this kind of unique side-by-side experience with a pro singer, where you always get to sing it along with them. So I know I saw how much you enjoyed hearing them. What a great quartet they made. It's wonderful in the performance when you kind of hear the whole piece in one go. You hear how Beethoven kind of throws the words between chorus and soloists. You have a very close relationship in that sense, and you kind of pass the ideas between each other and kind of show different perspectives on it. And it's like looking at the same words through a kind of through like a prism, through a piece of kind of cut glass. You see so many different perspectives on the words that are repeated over and over again in so many different colours and guises, until the piece just kind of explodes at the end, because you feel Beethoven has dug into every depth of these words that he possibly could, as did we. So bravo, bravo, bravo. We'll give it a little sing through in a couple of minutes. I say little sing through, you can't really give this piece a little sing through. This time with the full track, so you get to sing along with the orchestra and the soloist, and with the full recording of yourselves as well, which I think is going to be a huge amount of fun. If you've got headphones, definitely do it with headphones on if I were you. If not, perhaps some good solid loudspeakers to convert the neighbours to Beethoven if they're not converted to Beethoven already. And if they don't know it's Beethoven, they must be wondering what on earth has been happening in your living room for the past few weeks, or indeed months. I still can't remember when our first rehearsal for this was, but it must have been in February, I think. Seems like a world away since we kind of first started our journey with this piece, because it really is a piece that takes you on a journey. You know, there's a reason composers like this and pieces like this remain so direct in the way they speak to us, and so persistent in their popularity so long after they were written. And it's because it doesn't matter how many times you sing it, it doesn't matter how many times you listen to it, how many times you play it, how many times you conduct it, you still find more and more gems and rewards from what it has to say. It's truly timeless and in that sense. So let's get ourselves comfortable and get your music ready, and let's have a little sing through. I won't play you through the whole orchestral introduction. I will sort of start somewhere towards the end, just to kind of get everything moving and get us in the mood to start from the top again, and then we'll come in with our first Freude. And as I've said before, Freude, feel free, even if you're not a bass, but especially if you're a bass, to join in with that Freude, the first one where the baritone invites us to sing as a choir, kind of asks for backup in articulating what he wants to say about joy. 31st of January, Mark says, was our first one. Wow. Okay, so that is January, February, March, pretty much 2.5 months since we first got going. Well, we'll have to do it again one day, perhaps even some more Beethoven, because of course there is plenty of gorgeous Beethoven choral music out there besides this piece. Okay, so Beethoven hats firmly on, ready to give this one hell of a good sing through as a group. Shout if this is too loud or too quiet. I should say, the final performance video is going to stay up on YouTube, so you can watch it back anytime, sing it back anytime. Feel free to organise little groups of you to sing it through, or whatever you want. Like I say, it's got the subtitles there, so you can sing along quite easily. So if you didn't see the whole thing, you can always watch it back. Here we go.
Freude, schöne Götterfunken, Tochter aus Elysium, wir betreten feuertrunken, himmlische dein Heiligtum. Deine Zauber binden wieder, was die Mode strenget, und alle Menschen werden Brüder, wo dein sanfter Flügel feilt. Deine Zauber binden wieder, was die Mode strenget, und alle Menschen werden Brüder, wo dein sanfter Flügel feilt. Wie der große Ruf gelungen, eines Freundes Freund zu sein, der ein Hornes Weiberlungen mische seinen Mund, ein Ave auf eine Liebe seinen auf der Erde und festlich Gott der Stiere weinen sich aus diesem Blut.
Sing along if you want to.
Zum Siegen, wie ein Herz zum Siegen.
Well, for the second time this evening, bravo. Not a piece people often do twice in one day. That was absolutely cracking. Gonna say she swears it gets faster every time. I promise you it doesn't. Maybe it will next time. Well done. I mean, so many favourite moments. For me, basses, it has to be some toss up between the basses. Either your first Freude, which is always excellent, or your early entry on Ja, wer auch nur, which just had so much chutzpah. It was brilliant. Tenors, I think there's one clear winner for you, which is Den Schöpfer, where you leap up that octave in the slow section ahead of everybody else and go Den Schöpfer. It's just brilliant. You just gave that so much energy. It was fantastic. Altos, I think for you, your entry, that terrifying moment where we've all ascended above the stars, Muss wohnen, and that celestial chord, and then you've got to come in just out of the blue on Seid umschlungen, and just, again, fantastic. So much verve in that entry. And Sops, well, I think every high note in the piece is my favourite for that. You did so well on what is a just punishing soprano part. I think I'm sure a few of you would have had a few words for Mr. Beethoven if he was still around, and if you could have heard them as to as to the torment that I'm sure some of those top notes must have caused you. But I'm telling you, your hard work and your perseverance and your fearlessness paid off, because they sounded absolutely cracking. And for all of you as well, you know, the German is no mean feat. You know, it's difficult, antiquated German. You have to sing it at the same time as singing difficult notes and difficult rhythms in a piece where the tempo seems to change every 10 bars. But the Germans sounded absolutely fantastic. I mean, I saw Norbert and many another native German speaker commenting on how convincing the German sounded. You know, which is not there's nowhere to hide when you've got it written at the bottom of the screen. You can't pretend to be getting away with it, but you more than got away with it. You nailed it. Because it's so important with this piece. You know, Beethoven wrote it in German because he wanted Germans to understand it directly in their own language, but you sung it with such directness that I felt, even as an English speaker, I understood what you were saying, because you pronounced it with such clarity and sung it with such intention. So really a huge bravo. Well, what else is there to say, really? Have a good night's sleep. For those of you who are singing in Mahler 8 tomorrow, I cannot wait to get started on that. If you think this can't be topped, then I'm telling you that there might just be a chance that it will be. I'm sure. I know we've got lots of other people also who weren't on this course joining us, so I'm really looking forward to welcoming them into part of it. But thank you to all of you who took part in this. It's really been a huge pleasure. And like I said in the intro video, Rewilding Europe is a charity that means a huge amount to me. I think they do something truly incredible in keeping the natural world truly living on our continent, in a way that we keep Beethoven's music living as a choir. And I think those things are equally important and truly something to be proud of from all of you. So thank you for your support in that side of things, and just thank you for your endless enthusiasm and love of this music. It's been truly infectious for me, and a great pleasure. What a way to start the year. Start as you mean to go on, as you might say. So thank you to Mark for his tireless work behind the scenes, making this possible, because without all of that work, I can tell you, we certainly would not be here. So thank you to you, Mark, and thank you to every single one of you who took part in this. It's been a pleasure. I hope to see you all soon.